Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Tammy. I own Walnut Creek Bath Boutique. Today's video is a liquid soap video. I really do enjoy making liquid soaps, and I learned everything I know from the Ultimate Guide to Liquid Soap. It is an ebook I purchased a number of years ago. This book is just chock full of information. Everything you need to know to make a good liquid soap formula is in there. I will say, guys, it is very, very detailed, and a lot of that information in the book I did have to read through multiple times just to kind of retain it and learn it, and every so often I refer back to it just because I don't make liquid soaps all that often. Another thing is that they are very generous in their recipes. In the back of the book, guys, there's so many recipes for you to try. They have cold process recipes. I didn't even know that was a thing. Cold process liquid soaps? Who knew, right? They have your traditional liquid soaps, and then they have the 30-minute hot process liquid soaps. So guys, last week I reached out to them and asked them if it was okay if I put forth a video, and they said yes. I also asked them, guys, if I could have a discount code for you, and they said yes. My first discount code. I feel so legit. So the discount code Walnut Creek will save you 15% if you are interested in purchasing this ebook, and it will be good for a year. So June of 2023, it will expire. The first recipe I am making out of the book for my little bit of a marathon liquid soap making is their green aloe butter recipe. This calls for aloe butter, avocado oil, hemp oil, olive oil, and palm kernel oil. So the only oil I don't have is the hemp oil. I'm going to swap out my hemp oil for another oil. I will have to run this through my lye calculator. Give me just a second to get everything ready, and we'll be back and we'll make this green aloe butter soap. I'm using pumpkin seed oil instead of hemp oil. This is not a 30-minute hot process liquid soap recipe. It's not a dual lye recipe. And this is just now up to temp. And I'm going to add my KOH to my glycerin, sodium lactate, and my water. Stir this until it's just dissolved. 204. It's a little bit lower. It should be closer to that 215, but I'm going to go ahead and go with it because I have other things on my back counter I'm trying to get done as well. If it takes a little longer, it takes a little longer. At this point, guys, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to be processing it for quite a while. I'm actually going to start a timer. We'll just see all the different phases this goes through. So once it gets to the stage where it looks like it's going to start expanding on you and get really hard to stick blend, you switch to a whisk. You can see how I had to keep picking up my crock pot because it's a little too big for this. I wasn't feeling like I was getting all of the soap mixed in, so I stopped every once in a while to kind of just give it a stir. It still feels like it wants to expand a little bit on me, so I'm just going to keep whisking this until that kind of stops. So really fluffy in consistency. I still have it on high heat, guys, which I think I will turn it down to warm, maybe low. I'm gonna turn it down to low. Oops, I turned it off. But this is why you really want a big container, because look how much this is expanding. There it goes. Now it's kind of stopped expanding. It's settling down, and that was 5 minutes, and it's starting to gel. Let's see, it's changing consistency again, and it's starting to look very tacky-like. So I think we're ready to cover and let it cook. Look at that gorgeousness. All right. All right, so I'm going to turn it back on to high for a little bit. Kind of keep an eye on it. Cover it. So I have another timer set. I'm just going to watch this every 3 minutes. I'm going to come back and look at it and wait until this taffy is transparent in its appearance. So I'll bring you back when that is done, and I'll let you know how long that took. Guys, I had to take a break and eat supper. So this has just been sitting here for a little while, and I just want you to see, if you can, how that this has become transparent. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but it's definitely a transparent consistency. So now I want to test the pH. So I'm putting 1 gram of soap paste in this little beaker here, and I have some hot dilution water here, and just kind of top this off to get to 10 grams, and that will give me my 1% solution. So I'm just going to let this dissolve. And while this is dissolving, I'm going to pop this back in the microwave and try to get it a little bit hotter, and then we'll test this before we add the dilution water to the crock pot. Now you'll see this tray here. I went ahead and took the paste out and weighed it off because I wasn't sure how much water loss I had. So I'm not sure exactly how much paste I had. So I weighed it off, and I have 52 ounces of paste in here. And I want about a 65 to 70% dilution. So I have 80 ounces of water here. I'm going to take that on up to 20. I just can't get a full 100 ounces in here. I'm going to start with 100 ounces of my dilution water to dilute the paste, and we'll just kind of go from there. But that's what this tray is all about. Sorry guys, I thought I was taping. So I have my solutions diluted, and I just cleaned off my Apria meter with a little distilled water, and I'm just waiting for my smiling face. This sometimes can take a couple minutes. Okay, we got a smiley face, 9.95. So it's right between 9 and 10. That's pretty much standard for any kind of lye-based soap. All right, let's see if we're up to temp yet. Close, 157. I'm going to call that good enough. And I'm going to pour this right in. I've got like soap paste everywhere. All right. So I am going to get another 20 ounces in here of my distilled water and get it hot so that I can add it to this as well. And this time, guys, it's just a waiting. We're just going to let this dissolve. I do have the crock pot off. I'm going to go ahead and unplug it. I'm just going to let it do its thing. It may take a day or so. It may take a couple hours. Hey guys, I don't know if the light's very good, but I just wanted to quickly show you what I'm doing this morning. So this is the next morning, and I just basically, this is my soap paste down here, and it was adhered to the bottom of my crock. So I'm just taking it off the bottom of the crock and just kind of squishing it so that there's more surface area for the water to get to. And yeah, that's all I did today. I have a good amount of soap paste that's not dissolved. Now I could have done this last night, like this whole squishing and all of that to get it to dissolve faster. But it was hot. It was super hot last night, clearly. And the soap paste was super hard. So this soap paste is much softer. I'm having a nice, easy time of just kind of squishing it and all that surface area now for the water to dissolve. I'm just going to let this sit the rest of the day. I'm going to go to work and check it tonight when I get home. It's not that night. It's actually the next morning. It's just been sitting here, but you know, life, work, all that good stuff. And let's just take a look at it. Oh, every bit of that soap paste is gone. It's completely dissolved. Now, yes, I could have hurried this along a little bit by working at it, but yeah, that's just not for me, guys. I don't want to work that hard. I am completely okay just letting this sit aside and do its thing. Now, this is a little bit watery. It's not clearly as thick as I would want it to be. I know I've lost water weight with all the, you know, steam and whatnot. So I'm going to transfer this into a big pitcher container, whatever those are called, and see exactly how much I have in here. Hopefully my big pitcher will hold it all. This is just shy of 150 ounces. So I'm going to then now take this and divide it by 3. My first batch here, my aloe and sage, I'm starting with 2%, and I'm going to just kind of go from there. So what you want to do before you add any thickeners to this is add your fragrance oil. And I'm just going to let this kind of settle in. I'm going to stir it well, but I'm going to let it settle in because fragrance oils will either thin out your soap or thicken your soap. So before you want to mess with how much thickener to add, you need to add your fragrance oil. And I can tell at this moment it feels thicker. It's still going to need some more thickener probably. It gets very cloudy. I don't know if you can see that. So that'll clear off. I'm going to put this in front of it on my back counter, and I'm just going to let it do its thing for a day or so. I am going to cover that as well, so you know, no dust gets on it or no water evaporates out of it and all that good stuff. My next scent I'm going to do is Coastal Waters from Midwest Fragrance Company, and just recently bought just a few small little fragrance oils from New Directions. This is Bahama Berry and Melon. It smells really nice, summery, bright. So I'm going to use this in my third one. And then maybe tomorrow we'll come back and see how we need to finish thickening them. All right, guys, it's been actually a few days since I had these on the back counter, and you know, just life got in my way, so I just left them sitting there, and you can see that they're nice and clear. You can see how clear that is. What I did yesterday was I just took a clean pipette and brought up just a little bit of soap and went and washed my hands. I just wanted to get a feel for the fragrance load. Most of these needed to go up. Now the Coastal Waters, which I think is this one, probably could have stayed at 2, but I went ahead and I moved them all up to 2.5% just to make them standard across the board. But look how watery this is. This is fairly watery. This is a little bit thicker. Wild Sage and Aloe, and my Coastal Waters is even thicker. Definitely has viscosity to it, where this one is just like pure water. I am going to start with this one and get some Crow Thicks in here. I do prefer to thicken with Crow Thicks, but I'm going to go 1/4 ounce increments. And I'm just going to stir that in, and I am going to go up to 1/2 ounce on this one. And I can feel that it is definitely getting a little bit thicker, but this is really watery. This started off really watery, so I'm going to go up another 1/4 ounce. All right, I'm just going to let them rest. Stir them every so often. So, Crow Thicks. I let it just sit here because, you know, I do work. So I just let it sit here while I went to work. and it dissolved quite a bit, but for some reason, this one fragrance oil, my Coastal Waters, that Crowthix isn't wanting to completely dissolve. The other two were a little bit, I had a little bit of trouble getting it to be mixed in and dissolved in there, but I heated it up to about 90 degrees and it dissolved fine at that point. This, for some reason, the one that I have the least amount of Crowthix in, go figure, is the one that was giving me a lot of trouble. I heated it up to about 90, 95 degrees and took my stick blender to it, and that's why it's cloudy, because the other ones I've already bottled are nice and clear. See, look how clear that is. It is time to pour these in my bottles. I use these 8-ounce oblong bottles from SKS, and I get them with the pump top. And in this bottle, I can get 9 ounces of liquid soap. I have 5 ounces, give or take, left. What I've done with the other 2 fragrances, let me show you. I have just a handful of these little 2-ounce bottles that I don't carry anymore. So I made 3 samples with that one. And then this is the Bahama Berry. And I have a 4-ounce just random bottle sitting there, so I grabbed that and filled that up. I have one of these little things and I really want this to go away. I think I'm gonna put 1.5 ounces in here. I had to go up to 2 ounces. I can't just do 1.5 ounces. It wouldn't be full enough, guys. Let me see if I can find any other random bottles. I'm gonna let these cool completely before I cap and lid them. I'll figure out what I'm doing the rest of this few ounces in here, and then I'll bring you back tomorrow when everything is clean and clear and labeled. Okay, so it has been a couple days since I last left you. And seriously, guys, that's just my work life, right? I work. And so, yeah, this whole process has taken a little longer than normal. But that one, it cleared up quite nicely. It still has a bit of cloudiness to it, but I don't stress too badly over that. And here is my label for my Coastal Waters. I do create this in Canva. And I just eyeball this, guys. I've done my labels a couple different ways on these containers. And at one point, I had just a front and back label, but I just really like the look of a wrapped label on this bottle. So that is why I went ahead and it uses up quite a bit more label, but it's also a little bit easier because I'm not having to do this twice. It's just a one and done, I should say. I don't try to match it up with the seam. You know, that never did work out for me. I do use a it's not waterproof, it's like weatherproof from Online Labels. So there's my Coastal Waters. Here is my Bahama Berry Aloe and Sage. So I am all ready. I've already taken pictures, getting ready to get them up on my website. They are done, guys. Now this did take me a little bit longer than I actually meant for it to. I normally will only take me a few days to do all of this, but like I said earlier, I work full time. I had a weekend full of grandkids and running and everything. And one of the reasons I like this type of soap where it's just the one lie and it's not the 30-minute, it's just super low stress. I know that I can stop at that point where the soap is done cooking, and I can just let it sit there for a couple days until I get around to getting back to it. Same thing with adding in my dilution water. I know at that point I can come back in a few days when I have time to get all of that paste dissolved. I know that when I add my Crowthix, it's good to wait at least a few hours for that to kind of dissolve. And I can wait a few days at that point and just let it happen when it's on my time. Such a low stress soap for me to make. Fragrance oils can play a part in how clear your soap will be. So my Aloe and Sage is very, very clear. I would say my Bahama Berry is not as clear. And then my Coastal Water, as you can see, is a little bit more murky even than that. I don't stress over that. You know, I just don't. I'm over stressing over that kind of stuff. I am planning on making another couple of these soaps. I am going to do the 30-minute hot process formulas in the book. So that is going to be fun. That is a little bit more of an advanced technique, and I do have to get I kind of have to get ready for that. I need to make sure my grandkids aren't around because I really do have to focus on those. I'm glad that this one was one of those low stress recipes that kind of got my feet wet again. And now I feel a little bit more on top of my game. And then the next videos, I hope you stick around to watch. Don't forget about the discount code. That will be linked in the description along with the link to the formula book if you are interested in purchasing that ebook. Guys, that's it for me today. I really do so much appreciate you, and I hope to see you in the next one, okay? Bye.